Okay. All right. Oh, wonderful to see you all. Here we go. I don't have anything planned. I don't know what I'm going to say. I think I'm just going to start praying and see where Spirit leads us. So if you want to shift around in your chair a little bit, let your body know that something different is happening. If you want to put your feet flat on the ground, or maybe you want to put your whole self flat on the ground. Maybe you want to loosen your hands and feet. Soften your heart. Open up your chest a little bit. Loosen your jaw. Soften your gaze. Give yourself a little Mona Lisa smile. There's a parasympathetic response that happens to your body when you give yourself that little Mona Lisa smile. It actually improves your mood. Who knew? Good. So I'm gonna breathe. We're gonna inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. We'll do that 3 times, and then I'll pray, and then at some point I'll stop praying, and then we'll just talk, and then when we're done talking, I'll pray us out. That's how this goes. You ready? Okay. Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Creator God, Mother, Father God, Great Divine Spirit, working through us, as us, we celebrate that we are brought together in this moment in time. We celebrate this exact moment in time. We are the chosen ones, chosen to be here on the planet at this moment. We have friends who aren't here anymore, and we are here. And we are here with full hearts and active minds and busy hands and arms that love to hug and embrace, and a spirit that is willing to do the work. We gather in circle. We bless those who are here and those who are not. We know that whatever is needed is delivered. We know that the next step is right in front of us. We know that we do not have to get tied up inside of our minds about what is right or what is fair or what is perfect or if anybody's going to like it. We know that we can stay open to your great divine spirit. And we know that we are being taken on a journey that we could never predict. We're not trying to be in charge of everything. We surrender almost everything. Everything that is outside of our control, we surrender. We say, God, that's yours. That person over there, that situation over there, I surrender. Which doesn't mean giving up. It means giving in. I soften to that which I cannot control. I relax in front of that which I cannot control. The inevitable calls for relaxation. And instead, I turn my attention within. I turn my attention to that which I can control, my own thoughts, the actions of my own hands and feet, my breathing. I watch my energy flow out into the world. I see myself lit up with divine energy. And I see everyone here lit up with divine energy, connected to the sky and the earth. And I see everyone else on the planet lit up with divine energy. I see the animals and the trees and the rocks and the very cells of the world lit up with divine energy. Life breeding life, dividing, sharing. And I see us all knit together in a net, this web of light. It holds us up. It supports us. We can lean back into it like a hammock. We can pull on it when we need something. We can wrap it around ourselves like a blanket or like armor. We can send our energy out into it, knowing that we are never too much, never too big. We cannot take up more space than we have. We can only fully engage in the moment that we have. So we thank you, God, for this opportunity to fully engage in this moment right here. It's all we have. It's all we have ever had. Amen. So hi. How's it going? We have some people on the Zoom chat saying hello. Elisa says hi, good to see you. Karen is one of my VIP clients. She's in 365 Club Pro, and she says, I owe you an email and my eternal gratitude. I'm beyond grateful for your prayers and love. I can't wait to hear what's going on, Karen. And Donna is in Dallas. Hi. And let me look over on the Facebook page. Oh, there's Deb. There's my sister Laura. Hi, Lolo. MJ, Crystal. Hi. Wonderful to see you all. So I'm here to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I don't have an agenda or a plan. I'm not selling anything. I'm not pushing anything. Karen says, I'm alive. I'm getting healthier and I'm making art. Well, amen to that, Karen. Hooray for you. Yeah, and that thing of getting healthier, you know, I was thinking this morning about how tired is too tired, and like, where's the line? You know, like when I get depressed, when depression kicks up for me, or when I've been ill, or I just get overwhelmed or too tired. Like, where's the line? You know, where do I say, okay, this tired is too tired. I have to not work and instead pay attention to this. And I decided it was around 40%. Like, if I've got at least 40% energy, then I can just go ahead. I just plow through. I just make myself do whatever it is there is to do. If it's less than 40%, then I'm like, okay, forget it. Cancel things, nap time, rest time, food time, prayer time, art time. You know, something else needs to happen to fill that tank back up. So I don't know if that's useful to you all or not. I don't know where your percentage points are. But I think we do sometimes make the mistake of feeling like we have to be at 100% in order to do our work, in order to make a video, in order to put our work out there, in order to write, in order to dance, whatever it is you're up to. You know, like you sort of want everything to be perfect and be perfectly energized. And it just so rarely happens that I wouldn't wait for that. And I would also, I think about becoming healthier in very incremental, again, moment to moment, like I was just praying about, like moment to moment steps of being healthier. So can I take a deeper breath in this moment? Can I, drink some more water in this moment? Can I stretch in this moment? Can I make a choice to have a little bit more veggies in this moment? You know, whatever it is that you know that sustains and supports you. Again, I think sometimes we think of getting healthier as being a big swing, you know, like, oh, I've got to start going to the gym every day, or I've got to start, you know, I have to cut out meat or stop drinking coffee, or, you know, and those big changes freak us out, and we can try and do them, but it's very difficult to implement a big change like that sometimes. So rather to say, well, what can I do in this moment to feel like a healthier person? You know, is there somebody I can unfriend on Facebook? Is there an email I can just not respond to? Is there some way I can nurture myself, respect myself, honor myself, feed myself so that I have more to give later? Angela's here. Good morning, Angela. Nice to see you. Crystal says she's loving having a hardback copy of Get It Done. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. For those of you who maybe don't know, Get It Done got selected by Barnes & Noble. You may not know this, I didn't. Barnes & Noble has sort of their own in-house printing or publishing house. And so they created a hardcover copy of Get It Done, and it is on the shelf, that table in Barnes & Noble, like right in the front when you go in, and it says inspiration and motivation, like it's their January promotion. And they have a bunch of books there. Zig Ziglar's there, Brian Tracy's there, who else? Other people I like. And Get It Done is there. So it was super exciting to see, to have that happen. And I'll tell you, it's an experience I've had a lot and a lot more lately. I find that the more work I do and the more work I put out in the world, the more I start seeing these effects, these things that, like, I didn't do anything to make that hardcover book come out. I didn't make any phone calls. I didn't ask anybody. I didn't push anybody. I wasn't even thinking of it. I didn't even dream of it. The work I did was, I wrote a bitchin' book a couple of years ago. And apparently, the sales have been steady enough that Barnes & Noble felt like this would be a good bet for them. And I just had it happen the other day. I was talking about it on the 365 Club. But by the way, if you guys aren't members of the 365 Club, you should seriously consider it. It's very cheap. And you get a free monthly Q&A call with me, in addition to like 1 million hours of recordings. But anyway, so yeah, I shared on the club call yesterday that some of you may not know, I wrote the book to a musical a couple of years ago. So it's musical, so some friends of mine wrote the music and the lyrics, and then the dialogue part of a musical is called the book. So I wrote the book to the musical. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really enjoyable project. I loved collaborating in that way. I loved writing in that way. I don't do very much of that kind of writing, so that was a lot of fun. And the last, bunch of years, it's just been in what they call development, which is just like watching paint dry, like people call and investors are interested or producers are interested, and then it's looking good, but then it doesn't happen. Or, this person's interested. Oh, wait, no, they're not. No, we think we have the money. Oh, no, we don't. Right. And the last 2 years, there's been like total radio silence. Like nothing has happened. And I stopped thinking about it. I mean, I love the show, but I've been busy with other things. And last week I got a call, can I come to Beverly Hills for lunch with my collaborators? And I said, sure. So Wednesday I drove into Beverly Hills and they're like, it's a go. We're fully financed. We've got a producer. We've got a general manager. We think we have a director. We open in September. And they gave me a check, like a nice check, a good check. And I was like, well, this is a lovely meeting. I don't know why all my meetings are like this. This is terrific. And just what it reminded me was that, again, that, there are wheels turning that you don't know about, but they only start turning when you get your work out in the world. They only start turning when you start making your stuff public. And so that's what I really want to encourage you on is you don't know where this is going. You don't know what could happen. Maybe Seth Godin is waiting to endorse your book. Maybe Barnes & Noble is waiting to produce your hardcover. Maybe somebody is standing there with a, 6-figure check to produce your musical. You don't know. And you're letting that fear of the unknown keep you small and keep you, playing tiny and not reaching out. But instead, let that fear of the unknown inspire you. There's so many people, there's so many opportunities, there's so much money, there's so many clients, there's so much joy, there's so much opportunity, but you got to get out there. The other thing that I noticed too is that the more you get your work out there, the more it's just results, like if this were the only video I'd ever done, and it was the only one I was ever planning on doing, I'd be putting a lot of pressure on myself right now. And I would really want to make sure that I looked right. I wouldn't be in a sweatshirt, I would really, I would probably have prepared and scripted. I'd be putting a lot of heat on myself right now. But because I know I'm doing this every week and I know how I've structured this, and I do a lot of videos, I do a lot of teaching every week, most of it for free. You know, it's just results. Like if this one doesn't go well, it's like, oh, that's interesting. That didn't go as well as I thought it would. I wonder what I can do better next time. You know, and if it goes well, it's like, oh, that's nice. It went well. Next, right? So get in the habit of producing more and just getting to next. Because again, as I've said before, you are a terrible judge of your own work. You're a terrible judge of your own work. You're a terrible judge of your own readiness. And this actually came up in a mastermind group that I'm in that I've been thinking about a lot. Let your project be as big as it wants and needs to be. Let your project be as big or as small as it needs to be, as God needs it to be, as the world needs it to be, as it wants to be. Not as big as you want it to be. Because chances are that's either your ego or your fear or some combination of both talking, right? Give your projects the freedom, the open space, the inspiration, the energy, the light to be and maybe as big as they want to be is super tiny. Maybe they want to be just you and 3 friends in a room. But maybe it wants to be something global. Maybe it wants a celebrity. Maybe it wants thousands of members. Maybe it wants to, you know, bring in 6 or 7 figures. Like raising a child, you know, it's yours, but you have to let it go out into the world and find its own way. You don't have to be in charge of how big it is. In fact, you're probably not the right person to be in charge of how big it is. Sonia says, greetings, Sam. Hoping to connect soon, Ray 365 and other options. The books are amazing, especially the audio access through the library, and now want my own copies. So key for everyone and often difficult to know when to push through and when to engage in necessary self-care. Yeah, it's just, you know, there isn't a right answer for anybody. It's just a balancing act, and it's going to change. As you change, as your body changes, as the seasons change, as the circumstances of your life change. So it's not so much a question as like finding the perfect system and sticking to it, as it is finding a way to stay aware and awake to each moment and what's really being called for in this next moment. See, I don't see any questions. Let me see if there's anything on the Facebook page. Oh, good, lots of comments. There's Star. Hi, Star. Star's a wonderful teacher and a neighbor and a friend. Ingrid says, yes, take it moment by moment is sometimes the way just to move ahead a little by little. Right, and then you do those little things, and then all of a sudden those big Mother May I jumps happen. It's amazing. Paula says, one breath, one step. Yeah. Deb says, been feeling as frozen as the Westchester scenery. Suggestions for moving forward when the spirit seems to have taken time off. Well, you know, Deb, it may, you know, there is a time both in nature and in life to let the field lay fallow, you know, to be very quiet, to turn within, to not have so much output. And those times of restoration, those times of introspection, those times when it looks like not very much is going on the surface, it's important. It's important agriculturally. You know, we do that for fields. We let fields lay fallow. It's part of what winter is for nature, right? That time when things shut down so that they can bloom again in the spring. And I've even heard it said that that's part of what depression is for creatives. Like it's sort of an imposed, monastic time, you know, that when you're depressed, or at least when I'm depressed, I don't really want to engage with people. I do want to sleep a lot more. I do get more mordant, you know, I think darker thoughts, but sometimes I think it's good for me to think darker thoughts. I mean, sometimes I kind of sunshine all over everything and it kind of whitewashes what's happening. And so for me to take a dimmer view, a less optimistic view is kind of a good balance for me. I also make very grim jokes, which can be very funny. but if you, so I think the idea is you just sort of show up every day with a candle, and see, and really let yourself be guided. Let your project talk to you. What does your project want? What does your project need? And if the answer is sit still and be quiet, then sit still and be quiet. You will spring into action again. You will. So it's not forever. And you may really just need the rest. You may just need the rest. Mary says, Sam, I really needed to hear everything you just spoke of, including for sure about the musical. Congratulations. I have an appointment soon, but we'll look forward to the recording. Great, Mary. Yes, the recordings are on the Facebook page. They'll also show up on my YouTube channel eventually, so you can go there too. And if you want to share them with a friend, I would love that. Star asks, what is your mental practice to let things flow in your project? Curious if you could give a specific example for me. Well, the example that comes to mind, and I don't think this is a very good example because it doesn't make me look very smart, but it's true. It's what's been happening. So about a little over a year ago, I got an idea for my third book. And, but like a lot of my ideas, like I wasn't quite sure what I wanted it to be or what shape I wanted it to take. And I do get that thought in my head that I'm sure a lot of you do too, of like, oh, it's got to be perfect before I start. Like I have to know what it is before I start. It has to be, I have to be confident in the idea before I start. Luckily, I've been at this long enough to know that thought's bullshit. So I was like, well, I'll just start writing. I'll just start exploring. And oh yeah, look, it's right here. So I started writing by hand every morning, which, I usually do some journaling and writing by hand, but and I ended up with this. So this is the book so far. It's a lot of, and then I filled up the journal and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm ready to start writing. So I opened up a new file in Scrivener, which is my preferred writing software. And I started making notes and then I stopped. And that was like a year ago. And I don't know what to tell you about that, except that like every day I show up and I sort of poke at it in my mind, like, is this the day that I start writing again? Nope. And I'll probably think about it 10 times today. Is now the time for me to start writing again? And I say, what does the project want from me? What does it need me to be? And when I imagine the project in my mind and I send my energy to it, I'm trying to articulate something I've never actually tried to describe before. Like I can tell if it feels really mushy, like it feels like a down pillow or like that. Like I'm like, yeah, there's just nothing there for me right now. And the faith part of the journey is understanding that when it's time to work on it, I'll know that because I'll be working on it. Now, I'm very, in some ways, fortunate because I love to work and I don't have a hard time making myself sit down and working. I will sit down and work, from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, no problem. I don't believe in writer's block. I don't believe there's any such thing. And even the sort of tedious parts of my business or, the bookkeeping parts and stuff, I love doing that too. So I decided a long time ago that I could trust myself, that I was doing what needed to be done. And I think most of you can trust yourself too, that you also are doing what needs to be done. And notice that sentence is not, I'm doing everything that needs to be done for everybody all the time. I'm doing everything for everybody else. No, that's not what I'm saying. And it may be what you're, well, I don't want to get caught. It can be easy to get caught in a routine too and just feel like, oh, the routine is what I do. So I want to be a little cautious about what I'm saying. But yeah, I just feel into it, and I feel like, where's the where am I being called forward? I also pay attention if I get an idea 3 times, like if I have a thought 3 times in a row, that's pretty much my green light to do it, whatever it is. Like if I think, oh, I should call Star. Oh, I should call Star. I wonder what Star's doing. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll call Star. Like, I've learned to recognize it. So even if it feels sort of weird, like, oh, I should clean out the closet. I should clean out that closet. Today would be a good day to clean out the closet. Okay, fine. Apparently I'm cleaning out the closet. Or at least I'll start cleaning out the closet, and maybe that will take me somewhere else. So paying attention to those recurrent thoughts too. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. But yeah, you need to feel into it, and but you guys are really productive. You guys get a lot done for yourselves, for your family, for your communities, for everything. So it's not like you have problems getting things done. I think the problem comes when you have an idea, it's a good idea, it's pulling on you, and you ignore it. You shut it down. You get afraid. You remember the times you've been hurt before, and you think, nope, I'm not going to do it. And that's where you get trapped, right? That's where you get trapped. Ingrid says, fear of the unknown is sometimes so real, we should rather believe in the one who knows the unknown. Yes, that's beautiful. Alyssa says, we can grow into the know. Yeah. Chris says, getting to next. I like that. I've written a musical and I worried about how I will respond to the criticism that I actually know that I need. Yeah, the criticism thing is really important. It's the thing that makes other people think that creatives are crazy, because we do this voluntarily. Like, we stand there on purpose, put our work out into the world, put ourselves out into the world, put our voice out into the world, put our physicality out in the world, and say, go ahead and criticize me. Like, it's a little nuts. And it's funny, because I work with creatives in all disciplines, like everybody thinks that they've got it worse. Actors are like, well, it's my body. Like, it's actually, when they criticize me, they're criticizing the actual physical me. And artists are like, no, but it's my vision. Like, it's so deep. And when they get criticized, it's like they're, killing my children. And, dancers, sculptors and potters and photographers, everybody feels like, no, it's worse for me. But the fact is, it's worse for all of us. And it's a hard balance to hit, because, the desire for love and approval is so real and so human and so genuine. And especially for those of us who aren't exactly members of the Happy Childhood Club, we want to be proven worthy and lovable. We want our work to be valued. We want to be respected and admired, certainly by our peers and by our public. It's a very simple, heartfelt need and want. But it is also kind of the want of a child, right? That desire to have everybody love you, to have everybody think you're special, to have daddy come home and sweep you up in his arms and call you his little princess. Like, yeah, we all want that, but it's like craving safety. It's like, that's what children need. Children need to be kept safe. Grown-ups don't need to be kept safe. There's no such thing, right? So, understanding that when you put work out there, you are inviting criticism. In general, I find that most people are not nearly as cruel as the voice inside my head is. Actually, Leonore and I are doing a teaching tomorrow about inner critic. I should post the link to that if I have it somewhere. Let me see if I got it. It's free. It's a free training. Here we go. hold on. I'll put it here and on the Facebook page. So we're actually gonna be talking about this inner critic stuff tomorrow. So if you're not registered for it, you should be. Yeah, so yeah, mostly the people aren't nearly as mean to me as I am to me. And like, I wasn't sure how I would feel about being edited, you know, when Get It Done first got edited. It turns out I love it. I love being edited. It's amazing to me that there's somebody else in the world who cares about my book as much as I care about my book. And it's really helpful to have somebody else's point of view. It's really helpful to have somebody be nitpicky. It's really helpful to have somebody with a slightly different sense of humor than yours. You know, there were times when, especially the copy editor was like, do you mean this or do you mean that? And I'm like, well, I meant it as a funny joke, but apparently it's not going over very well. Like, so yeah, you do get, you know, your ego gets wounded. Of course it does. So you do whatever you have to do to manage the ego flare up. How dare they say that about me? How could they not love everything I do? I can't believe it. And then you calm down, you know, you give yourself 24 hours and then you come back to it and you go, okay, where are they right? Because they're right. I hate to tell you, but everybody's criticism is correct. I talk, for those of you who've seen the Procrastination Domination Starter Kit, one of the exercises I give there is the sometimes exercise, right? So somebody says, you know, your work is stupid. Your work is stupid. And you have your ego flare up and you get over it. And then you come back to the question and you say, okay, my work is stupid sometimes. And see if you can't just breathe into that truth. My work is stupid sometimes. Is that true? Has that ever been true? Yes. Yes, my work is stupid sometimes. Other people's work is stupid sometimes too. And sometimes my work is brilliant. So yes, my work is stupid sometimes. Thank you for noticing. That's the other beautiful thing about criticism is that, hey, you know, at least they care enough to write you back. At least they care enough to have an opinion. At least they notice that you're doing something. Like that alone, to get somebody's attention all by itself is kind of amazing. So I always write people back, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to write. Thank you so much for your eagle eye. Thank you so much for correcting me. Thank you so much for noticing. Thank you so much for your opinion. You know, your work is unlistenable. My work is unlistenable. Sometimes. Is it sometimes? Yes, of course it is. Right? So when you meet their judgment with your love, the love dissolves the judgment. When you meet their judgment with your judgment, there's more judgment and everybody gets mad. So be a truth-seeking missile. Find the truth in what they're saying. You may not agree with it, you know, like your work is horrible and stupid. My work is horrible and stupid sometimes. My work is horrible and stupid sometimes. I didn't think it was horrible and stupid in this exact moment, but okay, you know. And I especially find it funny when people get upset about getting criticized for the thing that they know they're doing. You know, like, what's a good example? Like, you know, so, somebody's a teacher and then they get accused of being pedantic and a know-it-all. It's like, well, yeah. Like if you're teaching, eventually you're going to come up against the moment in which you're being pedantic and a know-it-all. Like it's going to happen. It's part of the spectrum of teaching, right? It's part of what's, you know, like I'm so, you know, I'm a free spirit and people call me flaky. I hate that. It's like, well, yeah, you get the whole package. You know, freewheeling is inspirational and joyful and sometimes kind of flaky. Like, yes, I'm flaky sometimes. Sure, why not, right? Good, let's see. Sophia says, I'm actually not getting things done. I know there might be a very good reason for that. There was, but I don't consider myself hardworking. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. My experience is that most of the people in my community are not lazy. You may just be exhibiting good judgment. There's a lot of shit that a lot of people do all day long that does not need to be done. It's one of the things you learn as an entrepreneur, when you don't have to be at a desk 40 hours a week, you figure out like, oh, I can do most of the stuff that my business needs to do to get run in like 10 hours. If you're overwhelmed by activity, that's you doing that to you. You have put a bunch of things on your plate that are not necessary, that don't need to be done, or they don't need to be done by you. So yeah, I encourage a little laziness. Why not? Go for it. Let me see. I think there's another Q&A. Star says, yes, thank you, hug. Okay, good. I'm glad that helped. I'm sorry if that was, this is the downside of me not prepping. Is, you're going to get some sort of half-baked answers. Let's see. Oh, Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. Lovely to see you. Ingrid says, is it hard to just let it sit then until you feel like it's the right time to start writing again? Yeah, it's super hard. It's super hard. And it's super hard to refrain from the judgment that says, what the fuck is the matter with you? Why aren't you writing? Where is your new book? You had it a year ago. Where is it? And I don't know what to do other than, like I said, just have faith. And the faith I have, here's my thing about faith. Faith isn't something I have to generate. It's something I have to accept. This book already has faith in me. It already has faith in me. It already has faith that it showed up, that it'll get written and published in the right way for it to get written and published. You all have faith in me that I'll put out another book when it's time to put out another book. My publishers have faith in me that I will put out another book when it's time to put out another book. God has faith in me, right? So it's not for me to go, I have faith, I have faith, I have faith. It's for me to go, I accept faith. I accept other people's belief that I can do it and that I'll do it in the right time and the right way. I accept the unknown. I accept the mystery. I dwell in mystery. I don't know why I'm not writing right now. Apparently I'm doing other things. And it definitely, and it's a different kind of not knowing, like, be careful of this, because I hear this a lot, like, I don't know, I'm trying to decide, I don't know what project to do, I don't know. And like, that's a very safe kind of like, I'm still researching, I can't, like that kind of, I don't want to commit. That's different than dwelling in the mystery, okay? So pay attention to where you really do know, you just don't like the answer, or you do know, but you're afraid, or you do know, and you're just not letting yourself do it. And you just genuinely don't know. Like, you look and there's nothing in the bucket. And then you just have to not know. Ingrid says, paying attention to the gentle nudges. Yep, as much as I can. Deborah says, I think if you weren't made to feel safe as a child, it's more challenging to create safety within as an adult. Maybe my experience is that adulthood is pretty hard for everybody, no matter what their childhood was like. And I suspect that maybe if you were grown, if you grew up to expect safety, to expect to be taken care of, to expect to have the world pay attention to you, you might actually struggle more as an adult. We were talking last week about one of the benefits of not really being in the Happy Childhood Club is the ability to compartmentalize, the ability to just go like, I'm going to pretend that that's not happening. And it's great. You can, work right through a disaster. You can work right through illness. You can work right through all kinds of things. And the other side effect is, growing up in a really uncertain and unstable environment, like, I'm very comfortable with uncertainty. I'm very comfortable with not knowing. I'm very comfortable with a certain amount of risk. I don't get tied to traditions. In my family, we were always, flying on Christmas Day from my mom's house to my dad's house, or to some step-parent's house or something else, or, your father's not going to be around, you're going to have Christmas with him in January, or, so I talk to people now who's like, oh, my room at home is still just the way it was when I was 11. I'm like, really? That was like 10 houses ago. I don't even know where. Like, nobody is holding a shrine to my childhood, believe me. That like, oh, we always have, Aunt Mary's sweet potato pie. Like, we don't. I have no attachment to what a holiday is supposed to look like, to any of that. And again, I don't think there's necessarily a better or worse here, but it certainly gives me a lot of freedom. I don't get upset when things aren't going according to my inner ritual. So, yeah, I think that the key is not so much that you need to create a sense of safety for yourself. I think that the key is understanding that there's no such thing. And the illusion that like, oh, taking that job is the safe thing, or staying in this marriage is the safe thing, or doing what I've done before is the safe thing. Staying put in this town is the safe thing. It's not. It's just not. It's not protecting you from anything. And in fact, it might be causing disaster to come more quickly, or for you to be less prepared when disaster does come. People who've had the same jobs forever and then they get laid off, they're screwed because they have not been building their network. They don't have a resume that's up to date. They haven't kept their skills up. They're like babies out in the world, like, oh no, what do I do? Those of us who are used to, as an actor, you were always looking for work. You were never not looking for work. So my skills were always sharp. I can audition for you right now. Like, I got my resume right here. I've got my skills right here. I'm always talking to people. I'm always building relationships. My life raft is always packed. So, again, I don't know if it's a better or worse. It's just a thing. Chris says, Ray, other people being nicer than our own inner critic, when they are, I can easily think they're not telling me the truth. Oh, yeah. I love that game. I hear that all the time. Like, well, they're just being nice. Why? Why would they just, yes, people in general are nice. But, think about your own behavior. Do you traditionally lie to people? Is that something you do a lot of? Probably not. So you can probably assume that the people you're with don't either. Now, if you do, some communities, there is a lot of lying or a lot of duplicity or a lot of coded language, like, wow, you were really up there. That is a lot of energy. But in general, if you're sincere with people, probably people are being pretty sincere with you. People are complimenting you all day long and you are not noticing. Take time to notice how much love is coming at you, how much support is coming at you, how many people are saying yes to you, how much positive feedback you are actually getting. Even either in sort of a benevolent indifference, like people are just sort of not noticing and not caring, so you can do whatever you want, or the people who are genuinely like waiting and supportive and in favor and helping and offering. Like, I guarantee you there has been somebody in the last 7 days that has tried to give you some kind of help, some kind of money, some kind of gig, some kind of something, and you have swatted it away. They don't really mean it. They're just being nice. I don't really want that. I don't want it. That doesn't sound good to me. Right? Write it down. What opportunity have you said no to? Where have you been swatting money away, swatting opportunity away, swatting compliments away? Because I guarantee you've been doing it. The sometimes exercise is genius. It is, isn't it? Thanks. I like to think so too. Meet their judgment with your love. Profound, yes. Oh, Elise is here. Hi, Elise. Elise and I have the same birthday. So we're twinsies. Yeah. Meet their judgment with your love. And that's across the board, you guys. I know there's a lot of stuff going on right now that really inspires judgment. There are a lot of people doing things in the world that they really seem to deserve a good talking to. But one of my other big warning signs internally is when I get that sense of righteousness. When I get that sense of like, well, I know what the truth is. You are wrong and I am right. And let me think in my mind, let me make a list of 5 ways in my mind in which you are wrong and I am right. And the minute I smell that self-assurance, the minute I get a whiff of that self-righteousness, that martyrdom, that feeling that I've got the inside track on what's going on and they don't know what's happening, like I shut myself down. Like I go put myself in a corner that minute. I'm like, Samantha Sophia Bennett, you humble yourself because you do not know. I was reading an article the other day about people who think that the world is flat. This is a thing. There are people who believe that the world is flat. Now, I question what a person would get out of that belief. I'm not sure what that belief gives you. The article seemed to imply that they felt like, I may not be understanding this completely, that the idea of a globe somehow diminished humanity's importance, or something. Something about living on a flat earth made us more special. And again, rather than fly into a completely justifiable rage at how stupid this is, I instead, like, again, I got that, I felt myself puffing up. Well, that's just ridiculous. Puff. Right? I'm like, Samantha, stop right there. What's going on? What do you think you know? Where are you putting yourself above these people? Because they're just people. They're just like me. Right? They want to have a nice cup of tea. They want to be loved. They want to have their work matter. They want to, feel like important, capable people in the world. They want to have somebody take care of them when they're sick. They want the exact same things you and I want. So where am I getting distracted? Where am I losing track of what's lovable about them? And so I looked at the article again and I thought, well, they want to be right. They want to feel like they know the secret, like they've got the inside line on the truth. They like being different, they like having a different point of view, being in opposition to everybody else. They like that. That feels comfortable for them. And I get that. I sometimes like feeling different. I like feeling like an outsider. I feel like I know things that other people don't know. Like God is communicating specially to them. I get that. So I don't agree with their conclusion that the earth is flat, but I can start to see how they get there. I can start to see what would be attractive about believing that. And so I like to believe, and I haven't really put this to the test, but I like to believe that if I was ever locked in a room with these people or had to sit next to them on a plane, that I could meet them as a person. That I could love them as a person. I don't have to agree with their thoughts. I barely agree with half of my own thoughts. So really it's like graduate school, PhD, spiritual work here, right? This dissolving judgment with love. But it's not that hard. It's not that hard. And it's what always happens, it's what, it's how racism and homophobia and fear of difference gets conquered. People are always like, well, I didn't like any Black people, but then William moved next door and he's Black and he's great, so maybe he's not so bad. I thought gay people were going to hell, but then there was this nice lesbian couple at church and I got to know them. And, that's what happens. We get to know people as people and we melt a little bit. We melt. So where can you melt? Where can you melt to yourself? Where can you melt in your judgment of others? Where can you, stay? I don't mean don't fight against injustice. I don't mean don't get angry when you're angry. But I mean, just be careful of that self-righteousness. Be careful of feeling like because you probably don't. Chris says swatting. Yep, that's big. Yes, you've been swatting. I know you have. I know you have. Good. Well, we're just about coming up on the top of the hour. I think I can pray us out unless anybody has anything else they want to say or think of or talk of. Sophia says, you are the coolest, Sam. Well, thank you very much. I think you're pretty cool yourself. There's Nessa. Hi, Nessa. Nice to see you. Good. Any other thoughts? Any other questions? Anythings? All right, then I'm gonna pray us out. You ready? Okay. I feel so shy. Okay. Let's inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Creator, Mother, Father, God, we come to you in such gratitude for this circle of friends, the circle of artists, the circle of lovers, lovers of truth, lovers of love. We celebrate each other. We see the brilliance in one another, and we know that it is only a mirror. We feel the encouragement of others. We feel the people in the circle saying, yes, get your work out. Yes, I want to hear your song. I want to read your poem. I want to share your art. Please, please let me have it. Please show me your dream. Please show me your vision of the world that only you have, because it enlightens me, it elevates me, it disturbs me, it titillates me. Show me your feelings. And we know that that encouragement is us talking to us. We know that there is a timeline for things, and we try to not get in the way. We stay open and flexible. We dissolve our judgments with love. We meet our judgments with compassion. We meet our judgments with a humble, grateful heart. We meet our judgments with empathy. We empathize with the person inside of us that wants to be right and loved and appreciated. And we kiss that person on the forehead and we say, I know. I remember when I wanted to be loved and appreciated too. And we release. We notice ourselves having a tantrum about things not going the way we want and other people behaving poorly. And we notice ourselves like a child having a tantrum, and we say, yes, I know that tantrum. I know that sorrow. I know that rage, that injustice. It's not fair. I know. I know. And so we bundle ourselves up. We give ourselves a glass of water and a big hug. And we find the courage to come to the world again, broken and open and unknowing, innocent. Innocent. And we see the innocence in others. And we love the part of them that is innocent. Because all of us have a part that is innocent. We see that innocent light in others. And we say yes. We say yes to that light. We say yes to that love. We say yes to that warmth. We say yes to that humanity. We say yes to holding hands. We say yes to keeping our cruel words to ourselves. We say yes to excessive kindness, to irrational generosity, to infinite forgiveness. And we say yes to our own creative spirit, knowing that we are the hands and feet of God. We are God living. We are divinity moving. We are the healing energy. We are the storytellers. We are the inspiration. We are the light of the world. Go be light. Amen. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. See you next week.